What's happening, guys? So what I want to do here is create a series on reverse dieting and improving your metabolism. There's a lot of things to cover regarding this topic, and rather than trying to just do one gigantic video covering everything, I'd rather kind of break it up into several smaller videos, and I can be a little bit more specific with each video. But before I kind of get into the topic of this video, I want to state that when I'm talking about reverse dieting and improving your metabolism here, I'm going to talk about this more from the eyes of a general population, kind of long history of dieting, yo-yo dieting, fad diets type of person, all right? I'm not talking with regards to like physique, bikini, bodybuilding competitors coming out of a show and all that type of stuff, because one of the more common things that I get, you know, a large majority of my clients are people that need a reverse diet, people with a longer history of dieting that are looking for a sustainable plan rather than always trying to jump back and forth on these fad diets and all that type of stuff. But what they quite commonly tell me is everything that I ever find on reverse dieting is always about competitors coming out of a show. There's nothing out there for general population. So I want to fix that, all right? I want to come up with some content that's going to be for these people. And if this is you, hopefully this will be helpful for you, and kind of speak with that direction instead of from a competitor's perspective, okay? Now, a lot of it's very similar, the concept's pretty much the same, but there are some minor differences and there's some things that we need to take into account. So before I get into this, like I said, I'm going to do a series. So if you find this video down the road in a YouTube search or something like that, I'm going to create a playlist on my channel. I'm going to title it Reverse Dieting, and I'm going to put every video that I do on this series in that playlist, so you can go back into my channel and you can find each and every video and go through them all if you would like, okay? Now, for the purpose of this video or this entire series, I want to make a couple definitions before we get into things. I want to define metabolism, I want to define reverse dieting, okay? Metabolism is a very complex thing, all right? There's a lot of things that go into metabolism. I'm not going to cover all that. I'm basically stating in this video, metabolism being the amount of calories that your body burns on a daily basis to maintain your weight, all right? Gross oversimplification, yes, but that's going to be helpful for this video, all right? So let's just say you are 200 pounds and you're eating 2,200 calories a day and you're maintaining your weight. That's your metabolism, 2,200 calories, all right? Reverse dieting is the process of increasing your calories over time to help improve your metabolism so that you can eat more calories to maintain weight. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? If not, drop a comment below and I'll try to explain it a little bit better. But the main point of this is improving your metabolism through increasing your calories, okay? Now let's talk about why someone with a long history of dieting would need to go through this process. You have to understand that the longer that you've dieted, the more extreme that you've dieted, the slower your metabolism is going to be over time, okay? Your body is very adaptive. Your body doesn't care about a six-pack. It doesn't care about fitting into your favorite pair of jeans, okay? It doesn't care about any of that stuff. It cares about one thing, and that is survival. It does not want to die. That's a good thing, right? Well, unfortunately, that doesn't go so well if you're trying to get to low levels of body fat, okay? So as you burn fat, as your calories come down, so does your metabolism, all right? So if you make a big slash in calories, your metabolism is going to come down and it's going to adapt to that over time. It's not going to happen right away. I mean, that's basically what happens is as you decrease your calories, your body burns some fat, and eventually it kind of catches up and your metabolism slows down, and that becomes your new maintenance, all right? So that's why you hit plateaus, you have to make another cut, hit a plateau, and so on, so to speak, okay? Again, kind of a gross oversimplification. But what happens is, if you've been very extreme with your diets, if you've yo-yo dieted a lot, if you've done a bunch of different fad diets, and you've done a bunch of different restrictive diets, and you keep dieting, gaining, and doing this yo-yo cycle, your metabolism slows way down, and it gets to a point where it's almost impossible to lose. And you've probably noticed this. If this is you, you've probably noticed over time that every single time you go back to diet, it becomes harder and harder and harder, all right? If you take a person who is the exact same stats, age, height, weight, and you have someone who's never dieted versus someone who has dieted several times in their life, the person who has never dieted is going to lose much easier than the person who's dieted several times. So this is where we get into reverse dieting. If you're a person who has a long history of dieting and it just becomes way too hard to lose, basically you get to super low calories and you can't lose anymore. Well, what are you going to do? Like, this is why people give up. You know, you drop your calories super low, say you're only eating 1,000 calories a day, right? Like, you can't lose anymore. What are you gonna do? Drop them to 9, 8, 7, 6, 5? Like, it's just not realistic. So what happens is you say F it, you quit, you go back to eating in your old eating habits, and you eat a bunch of high calorie, you basically just go nuts, right? Well, you're doing this on a super low metabolism now. You gain a bunch of fat back, but unfortunately, your hormones and all that stuff doesn't catch up right away, all right? You gain the fat back right away, but your metabolism still stays down, and this is why it can be so easy to regain the weight and then some after dieting cycles, because it's just your metabolism will not catch back up at the rate of the body fat coming back on. So if this is you, if you're the classic yo-yo dieter, it is what it is. Don't beat yourself up about it. Your body is where it is now, and you need to accept reality and move forward from it. But you have to look at it now and not look at trying to lose weight. Okay, I know that you want to lose. I know that you're sick of how you feel and how you look, and you just want to get rid of it. But you're only going to do more harm than good if you go back into another fat loss phase. Now you have to take time to improve your metabolism to get yourself to a place where you actually can lose the weight and do it in a reasonable manner and have long-term success. So how do you do that? Reverse dieting. You take a period of time where you increase your calories. You do it slowly so that you don't gain a bunch of fat, because if you're maintaining on 1,200 calories and you just start eating 2,000 calories right away, your body can't keep up. It's going to gain fat, and it's going to gain fat fast. But if you make smaller increases over time, your body can kind of keep up with it and not gain so much fat. Now, every person's unique, every person's very different and responds differently to reverse dieting, okay? Some people will actually lose weight during the process and lean out. Some people will stay about the same. Some people will gain. Like I've had clients that just lost enormous amounts of weight and just leaned out, and every time I added calories, they lost another pound. Like, it's just insane sometimes what I see from some people. But then on the flip side, you've got every time you add 5 carbs to somebody's diet, they gain. Like, it's just, everyone's different. What I've kind of noticed in my time, my couple years of coaching now, I've probably dealt with around 100 people. And the trends that I have noticed is the more extreme someone's diet is, or their dieting history, and the more they've been very super restrictive with their calories and done tons of cardio, they typically respond better in the beginning of a reverse diet. But then when it comes time to cut again, then it becomes more difficult. And on the flip side, if it's not quite as bad, you're probably not going to lose during the process, but it becomes easier to lose after the reverse diet's over. But that's just trends. Again, it doesn't always work that way. It's just everyone's different, and you just have to understand that regardless of how you respond during the reverse diet, that's not really what's important. What's important is that you are improving your metabolism and setting yourself up for long-term success. So even if you gain 5, 10, 15 pounds during your reverse diet, you have to understand that first, not all of it's fat, okay? You're gonna build some muscle, you're gonna increase, glycogen storage and things like that, so it's not all fat. Take progress pictures, you'd be blown away at improvements in body composition that can happen even though you're gaining weight. But even if you're gaining additional fat that you don't want, you have to understand that the trade-off for an improved metabolism is well worth it. It just takes some patience and some hard work in the short term to have long-term success. So you always have to keep that in mind. It can be very difficult in the process, but if you rush it, your body's not going to adapt to the new calories, and you're just going to set yourself back again. So you got to be patient. All right. But with that said, I am getting ahead of myself. That's a topic for a different video. This is just kind of the explanation of why people need to reverse diet, what situations people typically put themselves in that requires it, and kind of what we can do to improve it. So next week, I will talk about the pace in which you should increase calories. Depending on different scenarios, different situations, how fast you should increase your calories over time, and how to know kind of what different changes to make, and what kind of the benefits and negatives are of faster and slower approaches to increasing calories. All right? So hopefully that is helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. If you have any different topics you would like me to cover regarding this, again, drop them below, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.
I'm addicted to the love that you're giving. Every minute, every day I've been craving